did the stock go down ultimately? Wasn't this good news?
Hey, great to be here with you. You know, as it relates to Moderna stock, I think all the vaccine stocks were down today, mostly suggesting that, look, a third boost gets you to where you need to be. That wasn't stunning or surprising. It was pretty much what Pfizer said a couple weeks ago. And it looks like we continue to go on, and the beat goes on. Nothing changed from consensus numbers.
Is there an opportunity here in Moderna stock? It's so volatile. Obviously, a long-term winner, and you've pushed back, I think, on it as a COVID play. But do you see any opportunity?
Yeah. Well, look, that's exactly right. We have pushed back on this. I think there's a lot of challenges with the stock, bigger picture, because there is so much focus on COVID. And as you see, I think we continue to move forward into 2022, where vaccine demand and the numbers probably don't matter so much. We've been desensitized to it for the stock. And so I think that that's going to be an issue. Longer term, I think there's a lot to do with Moderna, but certainly not in the near to medium term, where we're so much focused on recovery stocks.
Michael, you know, the overall biotech sector has been just profoundly weak. I mean, even setting aside Moderna, down more than a third from its highs. Is there anything going on in the industry, whether it's on the regulatory side? Is it just investor preference right now? Is there a little bit of a stall in the innovation cycle as the vaccine efforts kind of steal a lot of the energy, or what's happening?
I think you're right. I think there's two things that are problematic. One is we've been telling investors, after a 3 and 4 year huge bull market, if you pull up the XBI, quite frankly, 2020, 2021 was a huge rotation into recovery stocks. So you basically had all the focus around whether we're going to be opening up. People are going back. Are we going to go on cruises? You just had Carnival on. And there's just not a lot of focus on what's going on a cancer drug these days. So there's a huge rotation. I actually think that as we turn to 22 and 23, and as there's less focus on specific COVID recovery stocks, the XBI, which has been down so much this year, down 18%, what is that, 40% discrepancy to the S&P 500, one of the biggest discrepancies we've ever seen in 15 years. There should be a bounce in 2022 driven by M&A. I think that's one thing. All of these pharma companies flush for cash with Pfizer. And two is, you know, there's just been a huge routing of all these companies. There certainly is a lot of stocks like Vertex and Biogen and Amgen that could bounce in 2022.
I was just going to ask you to name names. So is that what you think is being most underappreciated? Vertex and Biogen, are those the two picks?
Yeah, look, I think for the large names, I do think that Vertex has to be the single #1 stock for 2022, based on the fact that they just reported a bunch of great pipeline data for 2 new drugs. Stock didn't really move. Nobody's paying attention. It's like a buyer strike in biotech. But I certainly think as the thesis plays out, I just align to you and get a bounce. I think Vertex is the cleanest and best story for 22. I think Amgen, another one, been totally left out to hang this year, one of the bigger underperformers as well. Just had 2 positive FDA approvals today, right on the tape, Friday. And that stock is looking good. I think they could do a big Dutch tender, stuff like that coming up. So I think there's a lot of these stocks, like large cap, that could bounce in 2022, absolutely.